Good morning, students. Today our topic is chemical bonding. We already know that. Okay, what is the definition of chemical bonding? Means the attraction between the two atoms or ions. The attraction between the two atoms or ions together in a molecule. It is called chemical bonding. How chemical bond formed between the two atoms means first of all we have to take two atoms. Here we have to take hydrogen atom and another hydrogen atom. When these two atoms are approached to each other, two forces are erased. One is the attractive forces and another one is the repulsive forces. So, when attractive forces are overcome by the repulsive forces, in that case also only chemical bonding is formed. For the formation of chemical bond, okay, some amount of energy will be loosed. For formation of chemical bond, some amount of energy will be loosed. And chemical bond formed between the two atoms by two times. Okay, two types. First one, sharing of electrons. The sharing of electrons from one atom to another atom to form a covalent bond. And next one, complete transfer of electron. The valence electron is completely transferred to another atom to form a ionic bond. For suppose if you are taking two atoms, when these two atoms are approached to each other, this is the nucleus. We already know that nucleus having positive charge and this is the valence electrons. Valence electrons having negative charges. The both opposite charges of the two atoms containing attractive forces. Nucleus of first atom and valence electron of another atom having attractive forces, and nucleus of another atom, valence electron of another atom containing attractive forces. And repulsive forces are erased same type of charges. If you are taking the both the nucleus having positive charges, so here repulsive forces are erased. And the both the valence electrons is also negative charges. Here also repulsive forces is erased. And which cases chemical bonding is formed means when attractive forces is overcome by the repulsive forces. When attractive forces is overcome by the repulsive forces, in that case only chemical bond is formed. We already know that individual atoms are unstable. Individual atoms are unstable. For getting stability, it loses the energy. So, what is the relation between the stability and energy means it is inversely proportional. When energy is increases, then stability is decreases. And we already know that our teenagers having more energy. Teenagers having more energy means they are getting less stability. They are always roaming one place to another place. And our grandfathers and grandmothers having low energy. Low energy means they are always stable at one place only. That is the relation between stability and energy. And next, this is the reasons for formation of a chemical bond. Lewis dot structure. It is also called Lewis symbols. And write the first of all we have to write the symbol of the element. In this case we have to take chlorine atom. We have to write symbol of the element and find the number of valence electrons. We already know that chlorine is the 7th A group elements. Means it contains a number of valence electrons is 7. So we have to draw 7 dots in the chlorine atom. It is called a simple representation of a element or atom. Simple representation of a element or atom. And next, this is the various elements containing Lewis symbols. We already know that sodium having only one valence electron, so here one dot is there. And magnesium containing two valence electrons, so here two electrons, two dots is there. So different elements, the dot structure here is there. The number of valence electrons we have to represent Lewis dot symbols. And next, Lewis structure. There is a similar difference between Lewis dot symbol and Lewis structure. Lewis dot structure it is represents the single atom. Lewis dot represents single atom, and Lewis structure is represents molecules. Lewis structure represents the representation of simple molecule by using Lewis symbols. Here we have to take beryllium chloride. We have to take beryllium chloride. In the beryllium, which group? 4 3 group. So beryllium contains 4 dots and chlorine contains a 7th group. So here 7 valence electrons is there. And next, both the electrons of the valence electron mutual sharing to form a bond. Here also boron. Three valence electrons is there. This is the Lewis structure of different elements: borane, methane, ammonia, water, and hydrofluoric acid. And types of chemical bonds. Total two types of bonds is there. First one is the ionic bond. Second one is the covalent bond. How ionic bond is formed between the two atoms? The electrostatic force between the two ions. Electrostatic force between the two ions. So, for suppose if you are taking sodium atom and a chlorine atom, we already know that sodium it is a metal and a chlorine is a non-metal. We have to take two atoms, one metal atom, one non-metal atom. Here, the sodium contains only one valence electron. Sodium contains only one valence electron. Loses the electron to form Na plus. Na plus means it is a cation. It loses the one electron. Here, third shell, one electron is there. Here, there is no electrons in the third shell. It loses the one electron and to form positive ion. Positive ion means cation. And if you are taking chlorine atom in third shell, how many electrons is there? 7 electrons is there. It gains the electron from the sodium atom. It gains the electron from the sodium atom to form anion. Anion means negative charge. So here electrostatic force is erases both the opposite charges. Electrostatic force is erases both the opposite charges. So to form a bond, that bond is called ionic bond. So ionic bond must form between the one metal atom, one non-metal atom, and it is a non-directional. Non-directional means it may be attracted by one another in any direction. This metal atom it is attached to the any direction of the non-metal atom, and electronegativity difference is also greater than 1.9. Electronegativity difference is also greater than 1.9. So in that cases only ionic bond is formed. Ionic bond is formed between the two atoms by transfer of electron from one atom to another atom. And the second condition is ionic bond formed between the two atoms, one metal atom and another one is the non-metal atom. And next, covalent bond. So, what is the definition of covalent bond means? The covalent bond is formed between the two atoms by the mutual sharing of electrons. Covalent bond is formed between the two atoms by the mutual sharing of electrons. Mutual sharing of electrons, again, covalent bond is classified into two types. One is the polar covalent bond, another one is the non-polar covalent bond. First of all, we will discuss about polar covalent bond. Polar covalent bond means the electrons, mutual sharing electrons are unequal sharing. Unequal sharing means here hydrogen atom contains one valence electron and oxygen contains two unpaired electrons. Oxygen contains two unpaired electrons. This is the one pairing electron. This is the lone pair electrons. This is the unpaired electron and this one is the unpaired electron. These unpaired electron is mutually shared with the hydrogen atom. So, unequal sharing of electrons between the two atoms to form a polar covalent bond. And what is the condition of a polar covalent bond means? The electronegativity difference is less than 1.9. This is the must and should condition. The electronegativity difference is less than 1.7, and in that case is only polar covalent bond is formed. And what is the examples? So HCl, we already know that in chlorine atom is a more electronegative element, and these chlorine atom is electrons are towards the chlorine atom. The electron pair is towards the chlorine atom. So that's why unequal sharing of electrons between the hydrogen and chlorine. So to form a polar covalent bond. Here we have to take a water molecule. We already know that water is the more electronegative elements. These two electron pairs are moved towards the oxygen atom to form a bond between the two hydrogen atoms and oxygen atom. Next, non-polar covalent bond. Non-polar covalent bond is formed between the two atoms by equal sharing. Here we have to take one chlorine atom. One chlorine atom contains one unpaired electron. Another chlorine atom contains one unpaired electron. These both unpaired electrons are mutually shared by equally. These electrons are equally sharing the both the atoms. Equally sharing means non-polar covalent bond. Equal sharing means non-polar covalent bond. And what is the condition of a non-polar covalent bond? electronegativity difference is 0. Electronegativity difference is 0. We already know that chlorine, okay, electronegativity is 3.5 and chlorine is the 3.5. 3.5 minus 3.5 means 0. Here the electronegativity is 0. In that case is only non-polar covalent bond is formed. Thank you students.